Hey guys, back for another video. This time focus a little bit more on movies. Not just any old Christian-based, Bible-based movies, but ones that we actually play for our children. And so I thought I would just kind of go through quickly. If you haven't seen the links for our other videos, they're down below in the description of the comments section. So go ahead and check that out. So I'll start with Pilgrim's Progress because it's not really a kid's film. But our daughter did watch this the other day, and there were just a couple parts, like the scene with Apollyon, that I asked her, do you want me to skip past this or no? And she said, no, that's okay, but she did ask me to skip past some other parts. You know, she paid attention to it. She really watched it. I like this version. I think it's pretty well done for a Christian film, and I don't like a lot of Christian films because I think they could go further and they never do. But of course, Pilgrim's Progress is just such a great story that they can't really water it down or ruin it. So that's a really good one, but not necessarily a kid's film. I just think it's a great film to own, and it is a film that our kids will watch. We've seen these at Walmart before. This is the 6-pack of like Old Testament ones. I think, yeah, this doesn't have Jesus in it. And then there's ones that have Jesus. We tried playing them. I really didn't like the religious liberties that they took. You know, they really made up a lot of stuff as they went. And then my wife and I had to make these faces at each other. They started doing like bad rap music to try to explain some of the stories as they went along. Not really good. But we do let our daughter watch the one with the lions just because she likes that. So Daniel and the Lions. Again, these ones here aren't kids' films. I just think they're really good. They're worth having, and you can play them because they're not going to be offensive for kids. They might not hold their attention, but they're interesting. So this is the visual Bible where they play for hours, and it's the Gospel of John, the Gospel of Matthew. We also have the book of Acts. That must be in another room, so I didn't grab that one. But they've made 3 of them where they skip over nothing and they try to do an exact representation of the Bible. So I think that's nice just to have something playing. The downside, of course, can be that once you watch something like this and you read the scriptures, you're always imagining these guys or that scene, and that's not maybe how it was. But we kind of use that sparingly. Then we have the Voice of the Martyr series. We have a bunch of these. So we have, if you can see, Gladys Allward, am I saying that right? John Bunyan. Samuel Morse, that's a newer one. The Richard Wurmbrand story. William Booth. William Tyndale. Perpetua. Eric Liddell. Jim Elliot. And Amy Carmichael. And these are so good. What's so good about them is that, you know, so it's cartoon. Okay, so it holds kids' attention. And it really kind of, not our kids, they're just a little young, but other kids I've heard, it really makes them kind of think like, why are people so hostile towards Christians? Why do people want to do such bad things to them? But then, you know, to make the point that these are real people. This really happened. These are true stories. And in almost all of these, it's probably too fuzzy for you, there's documentaries. So it's not just cartoon for the kids. There's plenty of bonus features of real people being interviewed and real documentation things being talked about that really bring it to life. One critique I have is many of these are, you know, very continuationist in a sense. They're very heavy on the visions and the dreams and all the stuff like that. So if that's an area of concern for you, just know that going into it. But I've watched almost all of these so far. I don't think I've seen Samuel Morse yet. And I know that there's one more that's out that I don't yet have. But great stories. Oh, like with Eric Liddell, there is some concern about, you know, can't do anything on Sunday because of the Sabbath. So there are some things that you may want to talk your children through if they're theological concerns for you. But nonetheless, they're great stories. Then we have, you know, some of this other more silly stuff here. Let me just start with some of the Buck Denver stuff. So Phil Vischer from VeggieTales made this series, What's in the Bible? And I would have stayed far away from it, not knowing whether it was trustworthy or not, until we came across these at Savers and got these DVDs for like $2 or $3 a piece. So we said, all right, let's give it a whirl. I'm not crazy about this one. This one right here. You know, the sovereignty of God, the attributes of God, and sovereignty of God in all things, including salvation, is crystal clear to me in the scriptures. And so I look for that in things. Now, obviously, in a puppet show with, little cartoon figures and singings and songs, you can't really always expect that. That would be wonderful. This one, they attempt to answer big questions about God. I didn't really like all their answers, just in terms of theological talking. But some of these are absolutely fantastic. They are going to come from more of a man-centered view on things. They are going to come from more of a Arminian view on salvation, but still really good. I had some concerns about what they said in the first one with, what they tried to do is make a fair case that some people believe in, old earth, some people believe in new earth, but then they kind of made this weird thing that people believe in young earth think that it came out of the Big Bang. I don't know anybody who believes that, and it's certainly not biblical. But nonetheless, we have a few. And the one about letters from Paul, oh man, for a show that has stick figures and cartoons and puppets and singing, they talked about salvation. They talked about grace alone. They talked about what it looks like to go through sanctification, through the process of sin, what repentance looks like. I was so blown away. With this one, with Israel getting a king, I was amazed at how much they talked about David and how much they said when he committed his sins that he really cried out in Psalm 51 and other Psalms, his cry of repentance. And then they talked about what repentance is, and it's a turning away from sin and a devotion towards God and His glory. Just absolutely good. This Jesus one, the first part, there's always two parts of them. There's special features I've never checked out. Maybe they're good, I don't know. But the second part of this, I think, is very good. Again, there's a bit of Arminian teaching at the end, just in terms of trying to explain salvation. But nonetheless, really, really good stuff here. Fantastic animation. And so, I recommend them. I think, as one of my pastors says at Newtown Bible Church, he says, chew the meat and spit out the bones, so to speak. They're really entertaining. Our daughter's 2 going on 3. She watches them, she dances to them, she's kind of learning along with the songs. They're really good. And they have more. They have so many, but we only got the ones from Savers cheap. But you can buy the whole series. I'm not big on VeggieTales, even though they're really cute, just because I think they're very kind of just moralistic, and they're not really good on the gospel. But in terms of a movie, a full-length movie, this one for Jonah really isn't that bad. It's entertaining, and it's pretty good to the book, and it really helps draw some conclusions. This is also from Voice of the Martyrs. I just recently received this. Jesus, He lived among us. I was a little disappointed. I was hoping it would be more biblically accurate, and I was hoping it would be a little bit more focused on the cost that Jesus had to pay, and kind of instead it was just an account of the life of Jesus, which you can do through other books and other videos. This one's really good. This is from Answers in Genesis. If you didn't see my last video about the dinosaur books that we have, we bought them in a 3-pack. I've got them right here actually. So this kind of book that's really good illustrations. And then if I can dig it out real quick, sorry. The D is for Dinosaurs. This came in a 3-pack on sale from Answers in Genesis. This book's great for looking at real-life pictures and understanding dinosaurs from a bigger perspective. And this one is from D is a little bit more kiddish. But this is so good. There's 2 DVDs here. Buddy Davis, who there is blowing fire, brings out his puppets and some of his taxidermy, things that he creates. Ken Ham presents, and they end up singing songs together. And who is the guy? Dan Lietha from Answers in Genesis, who does these fantastic drawings throughout the whole presentation that really keeps them captivated. So this is a great thing. Kids are interested in dinosaurs. They see it everywhere. They should know the biblical account of it. And I think that that's a must-own as well. So I would love to hear your comments as to what movies you enjoy for children, and hopefully this might encourage you to think about getting some yourself. God bless.